Welcome to more on parts of speech. Today we want to take a look at two parts of speech known collectively as modifiers. Think about what it means to modify something. Back in the 60s, when I was young, I can remember people used to modify their cars, make hot rods out of them, something like that. Okay. It means to change the appearance or the meaning of something. And usually the modifier is a word, a group of words, that makes a subtle change. But sometimes the change is significant, but it changes the appearance or the meaning of other words. First kind of modifier is an adjective. An adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. Usually it gives a more specific meaning to the word. An adjective answers one of four questions. What kind? Which one? How many? Or how much? If the modifier answers those questions, one of those questions, it is likely an adjective. Okay, here are some examples. What kind? The prodigal son. Prodigal is an adjective, modifying son. Which one? The third day. Okay, third modifies day. How many? The 10 commandments. Okay. How much? His grace is sufficient. Sufficient modifies the noun grace. Notice they sometimes follow the word they modify. Depends on how they're arranged in the sentence. Now, there are three special adjectives we sometimes refer to as articles. And they tell us something about the noun they modify. There's one definite article, and that's the word the, and that points to a specific noun. If I say the boy, I'm talking about a specific boy. An indefinite article points to a noun, but not a specific noun. If I say a boy, it could be anyone. It could be someone I don't know. It could be just any random boy or something like that. Usually, indefinite plurals and collective nouns don't have articles. That's not universally true, but we see that a lot. Most authorities today do consider articles a type of adjective, but some consider them as a separate part of speech. Just so happened the grammar book that I had when I was in elementary school, the article was considered a separate part of speech. Some authorities also call the word no when modifying a noun a negative article. So you do see that occasionally. Dictionaries often abbreviate articles as ART. Frequently, nouns are used as adjectives, so that can be a little tricky. So, for example, pineapple juice. Pineapple, most of the time, is a noun. It's a thing. Okay, answers the question, what? But in this case, it's answering the question, what kind? What kind of juice? Juice made from pineapple juice. Also, we have proper adjectives, and really they're parallel to proper nouns, and they're formed from proper nouns and are capitalized the same way that proper nouns are. At least they are in English. So, onward Christian soldiers. Okay, Christian here is a proper adjective, modifying soldiers. Sausage and French toast. Again, French, is modifying toast. Apparently, it originally came from France, and French is capitalized. And like as with nouns, there are occasional compound adjectives. Sometimes they're hyphenated, words like debt-free, and sometimes the compound words are joined into a single word, a word like waterproof. So, and sometimes you come across those, got to keep those things in mind as well. Keep in mind, too, that pronouns are often used as adjectives. In fact, many times, possessive personal pronouns are used as adjectives. My, your, his, her, its, our, their. really probably used as adjectives more than they're really used to replace nouns. Also, the old-fashioned thy, thine, and mine, like mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, something like that. Also, the demonstrative pronouns many times are used as adjectives. This, that, these, and those. A lot of times you say, oh, this smartboard, that camera, and so on. Interrogative pronouns are sometimes used as adjectives. Which book is this? What lesson is this? Something like that. Verbs also can be used as adjectives. We're going to study those later. That's another unit that takes place later on in the year. Okay, but we do have words like Rolling Stone, fried chicken, or so on, where the verbs are turned into adjectives. So you do sometimes see those. Okay, the second kind of modifier is called an adverb. The word, if you think about it, the word adverb itself is formed by the prefix ad, which means to, and the word verb. And so it's something that goes to a verb. So adverbs modify verbs. Also, sometimes they modify adjectives, and sometimes they modify other adverbs. An adverb answers one of four questions: where, when, in what manner, or how, and to what degree or what extent. Okay, so again, if the word answers one of these four questions, good possibility it is an adverb. So, look up answers the question where. It's an adverb. When? He will return soon. Soon answers the question when. It's an adverb, modifying the verb soon. In what manner? How? How will he come? He will come suddenly. Okay, suddenly modifies the verb will come. To what extent or degree? Many will be very surprised. Here, very modifies surprised. Okay, probably most of the time adverbs modify verbs. So he will come suddenly. Suddenly modifies the verb will come. Adverbs sometimes modify adjectives. People probably remember Elmer Fudd hunting Bugs Bunny and saying, be very quiet, right? So very modifies the adjective quiet. And adverbs sometimes modify other adverbs. He ran surprisingly fast. Okay, fast is an adverb, modifies ran, answers the question, how he ran. And surprisingly modifies fast. How fast? Surprisingly fast. There is one kind of special kind of adverb, if you think about it, really it's a noun used as an adverb. And nouns that are places or things sometimes answer adverbial questions. They sometimes answer usually the question where or when, in addition to the noun question what. And these are called adverbial nouns. And they normally modify verbs. I suppose you might find a case where they modify an adjective or an adverb, but that's pretty unusual. So in this sentence, please come home. Home answers the question where. But home is also a thing. It's also a place. So it is a noun, but it's acting as an adverb. In this sentence, we call it an adverbial noun. There will be a retreat tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow answers the question when, but tomorrow is a day, so it's also a thing, if you will. It also answers the question what. So that is an adverbial noun. He worked every day. Day here is a thing. It also answers the question when. So it's a noun, but it's acting as an adverb, so it's an adverbial noun. Notice here that the adverbial noun has an adjective modifying it. He worked every day. So Which day? Every day. So it answers the question, every answers the question, which one? So adverbial nouns are special kinds of nouns that I didn't really want to talk about when we studied nouns, because, just to make sure we understood what adverbs were. And we'll talk more about those later as well. Okay, sometimes you may have been told that words ending in ly are adverbs. That's generally true, but it's not always the case, not universal by any means. Many times adding ly to a noun makes an adjective. Here is the word weekly. Okay, sometimes it's an adjective, sometimes it's an adverb. He took weekly piano lessons. Okay, what kind of piano lessons? Weekly piano lessons. Okay, weekly here is an adjective modifying lesson. Okay, however, we said he took piano lessons weekly. Here, it's answering the question when. And again, modifies the verb took. So here it's acting as an adverb. So, a lot of times when an ly is added to a noun, it can be an adjective. But also sometimes it can be an adverb as well. Now, obviously, if you're adding ly to a word that's already an adjective, then that does turn the adjective into an adverb. So, he spoke quietly. Quiet is an adjective, and so you add the ly to it, that makes it an adverb. And of course, this question, this sentence, quietly, is modifying the verb spoke. So, just keep in mind, two kinds of modifiers. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. And also keep in mind the questions that they answer. And again, if you have questions, be sure to ask them in class. If you're not a member of the class and you're watching this, you can always go to the contact page on EnglishPlus.com and someone will answer your question for you. Thank you for listening.